Hi, Heather. How are you doing today?
Great. How are you?
Good, good. Everyone, I'm joined by Heather today. She is a local real estate agent in the Vermont area. And Heather, how long have you been doing real estate in the Vermont area?
7 years.
Okay, cool. And what got you down this road of real estate?
Uh, so it's actually kind of a funny story. I have my bachelor's degree in architecture
Cool.
and a little bit of background in project management. And I applied for a job as a marketing person for a real estate company in Vermont. And their broker was wonderful. He called me, we chatted, and I explained my history. And he also happened to have the same degree I did from the same school, just like 20 years before. And he said to me, you're going to be bored with this job that I have, but you should get your real estate license. You sound like you'd like it. And I didn't have another life plan. So I came home in 2013 from college, got my license, and the rest is kind of history. So
That
that's it's more
that's that
random than most people, but yeah, that's how that happened.
well, that's kind of cool. You came from architect into kind
Yeah.
of, I know you're not hugely probably involved in the
Well,
home building plans, but or are
yeah,
you?
I'm working with a contractor right now and I'm drawing up the plans. So we'll be having a couple of listings that will be of my design.
No
Uh,
way.
yeah, I'm mostly his. He has an idea of what he wants. I'm just sketching them
Is
for
your name gonna
MLS.
be on the design?
No.
Just kidding. That would be cool to have a design named after you.
It would be, but mostly I'm sketching what he's requested just so I can advertise it well. And so that's been kind of cool. And I know enough so that if a buyer walks in and is like, I'd like to take down this wall, I can be like, that's load bearing. I think you should leave that right there.
Right. Right. Well, that's cool. You have some unique insight as far as with the architecture side of things.
Yeah, I like that.
So in the past 7 years you've been in real estate, how many individuals and families have you been able to help with their real estate goals?
Oh my. It's got to be almost 200 at this point.
Wow.
Because for a while I was my broker's assistant, and she was highly successful, is highly successful, and so I was able to help with most of her transactions, and she trained me, and I truly appreciate her for that. And then in the last year and a half, I've done about 66 of my own. So it's I get busier every year,
Every
luckily.
year you're just kind of ramping up.
Yeah. So it's been amazing.
That's great. And before we got on the interview, I was talking to Heather, and she has a lot of experience with helping first-time home buyers.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit that what has your experience done to help you with first-time home buyers? And then we'll start with that question.
Yeah. So I I got really into first time home buyers because I was like 22 when I got my license, and that's when most of my friends started wanting to buy. And so that's where I kind of found my niche. Most of them were in their 20s, they'd never owned a home before. And so the more buyers I started working with, it just happened that they were first time home buyers. I realized how exciting of an experience that was for them. There's nothing like closing on your first house. And my favorite moment is like when we walk into a house, you can just see it on a buyer's face. Like, this is where they want to live.
This is it.
And I get a little bit of a high off of that, but, and so I love it. And so that's why I advertise a lot to buyers.
Gotcha. What curious, what is the number one off the top of your head, what is the number one mistake first-time home buyers are making right now? Or what is something they should make sure they do?
Yeah, they need to get pre-approved. A lot of people don't realize how much actually goes into a pre-approval, between down payments or uh, your credit score. So your first step is absolutely to call a lender. Any realtor will be happy to connect you with a lender that they know. And absolutely, people can just go to their bank, but there's usually a reason that your agent is suggesting a specific person to you. Either it's because of the credit score you told them that you think you have, or the amount of money down. Not every bank offers the same type of financings.
And different programs and
Yeah.
yeah.
So I can just give like a really weird example. When we purchased our home, it was in such disrepair, my husband and I, that 4 banks would not touch it. They took one look at the listing and said, no, we have no interest in financing you. We don't care that you have an 800 credit score. We don't care that you can afford it. So we ended up working with a very small bank out in Orwell, Bank of Orwell, and they actually used my parents' house as the down payment
Really?
to finance it. So yeah, so it was essentially a cash deal, but it was financed, and that is the only bank in the state that I know of that'll do something that creative.
So if a first-time home buyer were to come to you and, hey, I need to get pre-approved, you have different lenders in mind depending on the answers they give you to best fit their
Yeah.
their situation.
So I get a lot of messages like, hey, Heather, I'd like to connect with a lender. Who do you suggest? And I usually follow that up with, do you mind if I ask you some personal questions? Because I don't want to just shoot out there like, how much do you make? What's your credit score? You
Yeah,
don't,
yeah,
that's really personal. And
sure.
so if they're willing to discuss that with me, then I can take that information and I can connect you. I know somebody at a lot of the banks in the area, and every lender is wonderful for their own thing. And then we just take it from there.
Gotcha.
It
Gotcha. Okay.
saves the buyer a lot of time.
Yeah, that's good to know. Um, well, I know Heather, you mentioned you're on social media and online. I wanted to pull up your Facebook page really quick so
Okay.
people can see that. So here it is, um, Heather's Facebook page. You can just search this URL or just type in Heather Morse, and it's
Yeah.
awesome. So, how often do you post content on here? It looks pretty regularly, actually.
I try to at least weekly. I'll be honest, I have 2 little boys, as you can see, and
Okay,
sometimes
boy.
they get in the way. um, yeah, but I try at least weekly. I definitely post if we have a new listing in the office, whether it's my listing or my brokers. I just like to help them. Vermont has 2 different types of agencies that you can have. There's non-designated and designated. We work as a non-designated office, which means that if you are listing with someone in our office, legally everyone represents you in our office. So it's just as much my job to help promote your property as the person you signed on with.
Interesting.
So I take that very seriously.
Yeah, that really helps. I mean, have multiple people working for you, and I
Yeah.
mean, that's a plug-in for sellers right there. You just don't have one agent; you have a whole
Every,
team working
yeah.
to help you out.
There's
That's
a
pretty
pretty
cool.
good chance you'll never meet the other agents, but they are actively working
Posting
for
to
you.
people and
Yeah,
showing friends and family and on.
exactly.
That's great. Well, to wrap up, I have one final question. Probably the biggest question that what people wonder is why work with you versus someone else? What about you, Heather?
So I work with hundreds of wonderful agents. But real estate to me isn't really a job. It's a passion. My husband gets so annoyed with me because he told me last year I needed to stop bringing home friends from my job. I I ran out of our kitchen a couple of months ago screaming that one of my clients' houses was just listed, and I was the buyer's agent, and I was like, I found their house, I found their house. And I called them and they were so excited and they were under contract the next day. And I get just as happy for my clients as they are. And then I'm going whitewater rafting with 2 of my clients that I met via a referral in a couple of weeks.
That's wow.
So, maybe not everybody wants to be my best friend. That's
Sure.
fine. But I feel like I end most transactions where I am very much friends with my clients, and I get to know what they want, and I actively want to find that for them. I'm not looking to just make a sale. One of my buyers, I showed her almost 75 homes over 2 years before she closed on one. And that's okay because she is so happy. And we're also like best friends at this point. But so if you're looking for someone that's really not going to pressure you, but more just wants to be part of
That's
your process.
yeah, what's
Yeah.
best in your interest.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that was an awesome response. I
Thank
can
you.
tell. I can see it just from, having this interview. So hope
Thank you.
everyone else that's watching this sees the same thing. And
Thank you.
Heather, thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Have a good one.
You too. Bye.